What is the most serious crime you have ever committed, whether you got away with it or not? When I was little, there used to be this thing called BMI and Columbia House. They advertised in magazines like send in 1 penny and you get 7 CDs. After that, you have to buy 3 CDs at regular price. We would tape the penny to the postcard and get our 7 CDs. Then ignore all letters to buy the 3. Once my brother and I maxed out our names, we started to use our pets' names. Then used the names of people we knew. My entire music collection in the 90s came about this way when I was a kid. I've done some serious shit, but thinking about this, we could have been charged with mail fraud, federal offense, identity theft, and or grand larceny. This is how you stole music before torrents. One of my friends did this. The company used a collection agency or started calling the house or something. My friend's dad threatened them with a lawsuit for entering into a contract with a minor. Bam. Ended right then and there. When I was 8, I stole an onion from a local store. Massive adrenaline. Then I didn't know what to do with it. Stole a cute 36,000 from a company I used to work for via fraud. Served a custodial sentence. I regret everything. Custodial sentence. Is that like being a janitor? Stealing lottery tickets, I guess. Back when I was a teenager, I worked at a convenience store. Very boring job. So I started buying scratch tickets while on the job. I was alone in the store so nobody could stop me. Anyway, before I knew it, I had spent all my money and I was mad. So in order to get my money back, I was like, I'll just keep scratching until I get a big winner. Then I'll use the winnings to pay back the store. Long story short, I probably scratched about $1,000 worth of tickets without paying for them. Then I fudged the numbers when I changed shifts so nobody would notice for a few days. And I never showed up to work again. I guess I got away with it. Although I felt like the biggest asshole in the world. As a child, a friend and I robbed a kid at Airsoft gunpoint who owed us money. Terrible idea thinking back. IT's my money and I need IT now. Smuggled weed from Vietnam to Cambodia. Don't a lot of countries have the death penalty for drug crimes in Asia? Not sure what kind of fraud, but definitely worth $100k plus. I forged tons of documents, bank statements, pay stubs, lease agreements, to qualify as a state resident to get in-state tuition. All for a really expensive receipt. I have 3 felony drugs convictions, all from 1 arrest. Obviously I didn't get away with it the time. Honestly though, other than traffic violations and in my teens, drugs buying and using are the biggest crimes I have taken part in. I scuttled a $20,000 boat that some rich kid owned. Mainly because the FCA paid one of my friend's sister. There's no justice like the justice OC. Not exactly a huge crime, but the idea behind it. I stole a vial of holy water from the Vatican. Edit. Alright, well, I have at least one guy asking for a full story, so anyone interested, here it is. Inside the Vatican there is an altar and everything where you can get holy water for free if you bring your own container. Well, there is a small gift shop cafe that is inside the Vatican too. Well, they had basically nail polished bottles with holy water and a picture of the previous pope's creepy face. Well, I first thought, wow, this is a perfect souvenir, until I saw that it was roughly $13 American. So essentially I said FCK that and dropped it in my pocket and walked off into the cafe to meet with the rest of the group and later show them my unholiest deed ever. So basically I stole it because it was, and also because I thought I was a badass. TL. Doctor, normally it's free, but there was a shop selling tiny bottles of it for $13 and I said FCK that and took one. When I was very young, my parents refuses to buy me a Wonder Ball. The commercial was so FCKing tantalizing and I just had to know WTF was inside. So I stole one. Opened it up right in the candy aisle and ravenously devoured the whole thing. There was candy inside. The chalky Flintstones vitamin tasting ones. I still feel bad. Probably not just one single crime, but over the years. If you look at how much music, movies, games, and software you've pirated, it's probably well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Me and a former friend stole this dude's dirt bike straight from their apartment basement. To this day I don't know how we got away with this. Slamming a big ass bike up 2 flights of stairs. Forcing it through the front door. Tossing it into the back of some drug dealer's pickup. Oh yeah, we were stealing this bike for some dealer that was on house arrest for some sort of violent crime, and driving like my life depended on it back to this guy's house. Then he decided not to pay us. Fine, we just risked our asses. I wasn't about to get the shit beat out of me. But the next day an anonymous tip got to the police about a coke dealer in the neighborhood. My car currently has expired tags, but that doesn't stop me from driving it. I moved to another state and a couple months later my tags expired. It took me over 3 years to get new ones. A friend of mine drove my car home from the bar one night and got pulled over for no headlights. She showed a driver's license from O. Driving a car with an expired tag from MS with TN insurance. The cop just shook his head and let us go. A sting operation is currently being conducted on us. Credit GG Police. Edit. This is Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Edit 2. 0. Thanks Reddit peeps for my highest post so far. My boss told me a story of how he married a woman who was about to be deported to Mexico for $15. Sending nudes before 18 counts, right? Because there was a lot of that. A lot. 1-800 collect could always reach my friend's parents this way. Do you accept this collect call from? Brought rum from an embargoed country, Cuba, into the country. My brother wasn't so lucky. For some reason they inspected his luggage and told him he couldn't bring in embargoed goods into the country. The SAR guy said he would have to confiscate it. To which my brother said, "There is no f-king way I'm letting you have this," as that SAR guy would probably take it home and drink it himself. Instead he told the guy that he would rather destroy it. Together they walked to a sink and my brother poured the whole bottle down the drain. The SAR guy couldn't believe that my brother chose to destroy it. To this day my brother says it was the saddest and at the same time most satisfying thing he's ever done. Breaking into someone's apartment and trashing it was a bad idea, but at the time I was just so upset with the guy. He was getting away with a bunch of bullshit and I just wanted him to feel as unsafe and violated as he had been making other people feel. When I was younger, 11-year-old, in rural Indiana, there was an abandoned house down the street from my friend's parents' house. One summer night my best friend and I broke into it and amassed complete chaos. We smashed toilet bowls, took a sledgehammer to the walls, and shattered every piece of glass there was in the place. A few weeks later a detective came door to door on the street asking about the property and any strange activity in the area. We held our breath, our tongues, but we both knew it was us. We began crying after the officer left. A dead giveaway. The reason people hate kids. Not a big deal, but could have got in a lot of trouble for these things. Mailbox smashing. Finding about 20-30 Christmas trees left on the street after Christmas. Piling them up in a field behind a church. Then lighting them on fire. It was exhilarating. Edit. Yes. Now that I'm well out of high school, I realize how awful smashing mailboxes is. Sorry for saying it's not a big deal. I seriously f***ed up a mugger when I was drunk and left him bleeding on the pavement. Probably attempted murder or at least some very serious assault charges if I was ever caught. Don't feel the least bit bad. A guy tried to take my wallet and stab me. I figure if someone has a knife you need to really hit them hard and take them down quick. I stole some beef jerky from CVS once. Jerk. Drimping my ex in a public park. Got off with a warning. It only took a warning to get you off. When I was 8 I stole a Build-A-Bear. FCK the system. How the FCK do you steal a Build-A-Bear? They watch you through the whole process. Lots and lots of underage drinking and then supplying alcohol to my 20-year-old roommates once I turned 21. Stole a traffic sign and planted it in someone's front yard. Needless to say, at my finest hour. Biking on the sidewalk in front of a police station. Yeah. No one f***ing cared. One time. One even complimented me on my bike as I went past. You're off the f***ing chain. I guess it would have been simple assault under Ohio law, knowingly cause or attempt to cause physical harm to another. But since I didn't actually hurt him with my pathetic attack, I didn't even get chucked from the establishment. Drunk guy at bar referred to my friend as a near and I hit him with a pint glass. Bounced right off his giant, rubbery shaved head. This huge guy could have easily beaten me to a bloody pulp but just kind of looked at me, blinking in surprise, as I screamed at him to f***ing apologize to my friend. Eventually I just kind of started to feel embarrassed by the whole thing as he was clearly too addled to understand what was going on. And I just turned my back on him and sat back down to fume quietly. I am guilty of numerous thought crimes. Accidentally stole a chocolate bar from a shop when I was about 13. I was buying a magazine and had put it on two of the chocolate bars while I fished around in my bag for money. When I left the shop, I realized I had also picked up a chocolate bar when I was done paying. I felt so guilty and considered returning it, but I felt like I couldn't face the shop owner. I couldn't even bring myself to eat the tainted chocolate, so I gave it to my sister and told her I'd bought it for her. I steal tips from my work. The tips are pretty much all given to the owner and the normal waiting staff get all of it. It's split really unevenly as well, so if I see money on a table I've served by myself then I take the money. Normally some, not all. Because I don't feel like it's fair. If tables leave without paying then it gets taken out of the tips as well, and all in all I feel like as a waitress I should get to keep the tips that the customers leave for me and assume go to me. Edit. I'm from the UK, not the US, and the laws on tipping here, as far as I'm aware, are not as strict as in the US. By this I mean the way the tips are handled by the restaurant. I'm pretty sure the owner taking your tips is illegal. I'm also pretty sure it's illegal to take the cost of stolen meals out of your tips. Probably piracy. Which I don't do anymore ever since I found out my library carries digital copies of books and plenty of hard copy DVDs, Blu-rays, etc. I am, however, a constant offender of jaywalking. Are you a cop? No. But could you stand a little closer and speak into my shirt please? Production and sale of truly felonious amounts of illegal drugs. B&D and theft. Kick the shit out of an asshole who are pedo friend. All of this was over 20 years ago. Had sex with two girls who were drinking at a party. I was under 21. So I didn't drink. Turned out they were under 21 too. Turned out they were under 18. I'll never forget that night. And it still bothers me to this day. Don't have casual sex anymore. And I don't go to parties. Their mother called me and threatened to ruin my life for it unless I promised to never show my face again around her or them. I've kept that promise. I once stole a black and white Coke from a grocery store by accident. That's probably it. Edit. Cookie. Hardy ha ha, you fire from the wire. The thousands of dollars of stuff I've stolen from businesses in my area. I stepped on the grass when it said don't step on the grass. Farted in a crowded elevator. SBD. Got away with it. Couldn't get away from it. I took a shit in the woods. Ah. Are you a bear? Or is it the Pope? I forget how these sayings go. So what I guess I mean to ask is, are you the bear Pope? I've tagged you as the bear Pope. Just in case. I don't think that's a crime. So I need to go to prison. There's nothing like pinching a turd off on a chipmunk's head. The look on their shitty covered face is priceless. I once killed time. When I was in 4th grade I was messing around near the docks with this kid. I told him my uncle had a boat and that he kept the keys in the glove box. We tried to drive it but it got stuck in reverse, broke a huge beaver dam, and flooded a whole town. A few days later this other friend of mine started to feel all guilty and convinced us to get another boat and go into the flooded town to help out. We ended up crashing the boat into their power plant, which caused an oil spill that started on fire, burning the parts of the flooded houses that were above water. When we tried to confess a few days later, the mayor just thought we were being metaphorical and trying to send a message. This is the plot of an episode of South Park. Underage drinking. See? Got away with it in the law. Not with my parents. When I'm at Chipotle, I ask for a water cup and fill it up with Coca-Cola. Needless to say, no one has caught me yet. I stole a balloon. I stole a pen once. A blue Bic pen. Someone left it on the train. I regret nothing. The victim spent the rest of the day checking the lost and found at every station on his route after noticing his pen was gone. Nobody had turned it in, of course. Once he was sure it was lost forever, he went on his way to his final destination to put the lottery on, but when he got there was no pen to fill out the lottery slip. If only someone had turned his pen into lost and found. He couldn't put the lottery on, so just headed home. Later that night he was watching the TV and his numbers came up. If his pen wasn't stolen he would have now been a millionaire. He was found the next day. He had hung himself in the closet. In college some friends and I went through a phase where we would go out in the middle of the night and steal signs. Never street signs. Just signs around campus. Like parking signs and this spot reserved for signs. It was pretty stupid and pointless, but we enjoyed the adrenaline rush from the whole thing. Never got caught. Come to think of it, I may still have the signs I stole packed away in my closet somewhere. Breaking and entering twice. Although neither time did we break anything to get in. I mean, if you have the 3rd floor window of an elementary school wide open in the night during summer with no screen on and a large fence attached to nothing not 20 feet away, what do you expect to happen? Breaking and entering is probably by far the most stupid crime I've committed. We set off a silent alarm eventually and practically jumped out of the window in our rush to run away. And the window was probably 5 or 6 meters high. There's been lots of illegal fires. One time we probably would have burned down an abandoned farming area if I hadn't demanded that we put out the big fire we had going on the edge of a forest before we ran to the vehicle due to approaching wolves. Then all the piracy. So much piracy. Also marijuana. My life sounds a fair bit more interesting than it is when I write down crimes I've committed over the past 6 years or so. I injected a marijuana once. Never again though. One whole marijuana? Nice try. Police. They came away toys.